Afternoon, and welcome to your Wednesday afternoon circuit class. I'm not Marnouche today, much to a lot of people's disappointment, I'm sure. I'm Dave. I'm with the wellness team. Today we're going to do a strength and conditioning circuit. So what that's going to look like is we're going to do two circuits. There's going to be 4 exercises in each circuit. Two exercises will be more strength-based. 2 exercises will be more conditioning based, and at the end we're going to go through a core component. Our intervals today are 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off, and we're going to do 2 rounds of everything included in the core component. We're just going to start with some arm swings. I'll get out of that window light there so you guys can see my ugly mug. With the arm swings, I'm palms out, stand on the side actually, palms out when I'm on the outside, palms in or palms down when I'm on the inside, and I alternate which arm's on top. This is pretty much what I always start my warm-up with, just to get the shoulders loosened up, especially if you're working from home and you're sitting at a desk a lot of the time. As always, if you have questions or comments and you're joining me live, you can just type in the chat box. I do have it up. We're going to go into our hip hinge. So I'm just crawling my hands down the front of my legs, and then as I stand up, pulling back on these left fingers. Arms overhead, hips to the right, lean to the left, hips to the left, lean to the right, and we're going to do that a few more times. It's going to be super important for our first exercise. As you can see, I have some weights by me as well as resistance bands. They're not necessary for today's workout, but they will enhance the workout, I'll say. And make it a little bit more interesting if you've sort of been using body weight, been doing a lot of push-ups and things like this. This is a good way to mix it up a little bit. Normally in my classes I don't use equipment, but I know Marnouche uses equipment, so I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. And then we'll just finish with some torso rotation. So I'm interlocking my fingers behind my head, pull my elbows back so they're in line with my ears, and then I'm just rotating through the torso. Take my time to breathe, get psyched for the workout. Should be a little bit of fun today. A couple different moves that you might not be used to doing. In terms of my weight selection today, I do have a heavier set of dumbbells, a lighter set of dumbbells, and then 1 resistance band. I'll show you how to do everything with every piece of equipment. So within our first group, we have our straight leg deadlift. So with dumbbells, nice and simple. The weights are in front of me. First point of the movement is I get my hips out of the way. So I just push my butt as far back as possible. And then I crawl the weights down the front of my legs as far as I can go, keeping my chest lifted. It's the same with the resistance band. I just step in. I grab nice and low on the resistance band, and then I push my hips forward, push my hips back, keeping the chest lifted throughout, right? And then if you don't have any weights, I suggest going for the single leg deadlift. So you can do that, balancing, or if you have a rough time balancing, you can hold on to something, or you can simply keep that back leg on the ground and the chest lifted, all right? That's your first move, box hops. We're just going to imagine there's a box on the ground that we hop through. Make sure your space is clear so that you don't trip, but we're just staying square to the room. Halfway through, we'll switch directions. If you don't want to hop, you can always just do quick steps. Glute bridge, chest press. We're on our back in the glute bridge, chest press up. With the band, just put it behind your back. Glute bridge, chest press up, right? More tension. You can always double up on the band. And then lastly, I would just do a push-up instead, or a modified push-up if you don't have that body weight. And then last but not least is our walkouts. So from that standing tall position, we walk out to the high plank position, stand back up. Modification for that will just be that hips, knees, ankles ceiling that we do All right, so without further ado, we'll start with our deadlifts. 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. The timer's just going to run from now until the end of the set, essentially. And I'm just going to make sure my microphone's going there, and it is. All right, so we're starting in 3, 2, and 1. Push my hips back, keep my chest lifted. Weight is crawled in front of me. Then to lift the weight, I'm just pushing my hips forward and standing up tall. So as you can guess, this is a strength component. We're lifting a little bit heavier. Controlled breathing, controlled rep. We're over halfway there. Form over everything here. Perfect form throughout. Just from the front, you can see I'm just standing about hip width apart. We got time for one more here. 15-second break. Good time to grab some water, clear out your space so that you can do these box hops, but we're not tripping. All right, and we're into those box hops. And if you need that modification, it's just that quick step, right? Just from the side so you can see, I'm in that athletic position, that squat position, as I jump through this box. And we'll switch directions that we're jumping. And you can certainly go quicker, right? But try to land quiet. And go at a pace that you can keep up for the full 45 seconds. All right. We're going to our glute bridge chest press. Now, as you can see, I've alternated it. So it's strength condition, strength condition. Enough time to pretty much get on the ground, get in position. Glute bridge chest press. Just got to move that band is in a terrible spot for me. Unfortunately, I can't see my timer based on where I am, so I'm going to shift. You guys keep going though. We're halfway there. That's a little better. Still can't see it, but we're going to move through it. Hips are up. Press up. Try not to let the elbows rest on the ground like I did just there. Push all the way through. All right, one more here. Put the weights down. Clear out your area. And we go into our walkouts. Standing tall. Curl my hands down. Bend my knees. I walk out. So that high plank position. Stand back up. Now you can take it nice and slow like that, or you can make it a real hard cardio exercise, right? Walk out. I stand up. High plank position. Stand up. The whole time here, though, I don't lose my form in that high plank position, right? I stay strong. My hips don't wobble throughout. I'm just going to slow down so I can continue talking. Slow motion, right? Looks the same as the sped up version. My form doesn't change one more here. 15 seconds break. We're on to round 2. Go ahead, grab some water. Last round of these, actually, I'm going to use the band just to show you. All right, into our deadlifts. I find the band a little bit easier to keep form on the deadlifts. All right, you can see that nice, beautiful straight line in the spine. That's what we want. But I find I really need to grab low on the band and make sure you're even if you're using a band. Grabbing even lengths on both sides so you're working both sides evenly. And keep that nice perfect form all the way through. standing up, finishing the reps. Yeah, pull all the way through. Last one. Awesome. We have our box hops. And I'm just gonna clear my space. Safety first. It is global health and safety. They don't need any accidents during the exercise class. Halfway through, we'll switch directions. And again, this box is just imaginary so that you get lateral jump each direction, right? And the direction switch is more of a brain thing, and we're switching, than it is a muscular thing. You're going to get even muscle workage no matter what direction you go in. Nice quiet landings. I'm starting to make some noise, which means generating force throughout my joints. All right, and we have our glute bridge chest press. I'm going to double up my band here. Going in 3, 2, and 1. Wrist, elbows, and shoulders should be stacked at the end range of the motion. Push those hips up nice and high. Don't let the elbows rest on the ground. Yeah, and you could just use dumbbells for this. You could be doing push-ups. I'm just doing both to demonstrate. We're over halfway there. 20 seconds to go. Finish that rep at the top, right? Push all the way through here. And then touch the elbows to the ground, but don't rest them. 2 more reps here. 1, 2, push it all the way through. Clear your space for your walkouts. Quick drink if you need it. I'm going to demonstrate the modification, or start with modification. So hips, knees, ankles, ceiling, right? We're still getting that up, down, vertical level change that makes the walkout so difficult, but it's a little bit easier. And if you can keep this pace the whole time, then you'll probably feel your heart rate, slowly climb, getting that condition, breathing a little bit heavier. And with this, it's the same with deadlifts, right? Look at my chest. My chest stays lifted the whole time and up so that I keep that nice straight spine. If I start to touch my toes, I see I get that little bit of rounding. So I just go for the ankles so that my range of motion just allows me to keep perfect form the whole time. All right, group 2, we have our lateral lunge. If you're going to hold a weight, stand on this side of the window. If you're going to hold a weight, hold it in goblet position. We're going to do all one side for the first half, and then we're going to switch the second half. If you use a band, you're just going to step inside that band, hold the band up here, take that lateral lunge, come back out. Nice and slow, controlled movement when you come back, right? Don't allow the elastic to just shoot you back. Bent over row, of course, can be done with the band. Hinge at the hips. Grab the band similar to the deadlift, and we're just pulling the elbows past the body. Could be done with dumbbells as well, same way. If you don't have any weights, I suggest going to this renegade row, high plank position, or modified plank position, and really focus on driving the elbow back, alternating through. And last but not least, we have our 90-degree squat hops. How these essentially work is we're going to get into the quarter squat, half squat position, hop 90 degrees, hop 90 degrees, turn back, right? So we're only moving through 270 degrees, or I guess, yeah, 270 degrees range of motion with the 90-90-90, or if you don't want to hop for that too, you can always just squat, step, squat, turn. All right, without further ado, we'll get going on round 1. In 3, 2, and 1. I'll start with a dumbbell. I'll probably use a lighter one for this. Remember, halfway through, we'll switch sides. We're doing all one side for the first 22 seconds. And we'll switch sides. I'm going to the left now. Just trying to find a spot where I'm not so washed out. All right, we set the weight down or grab a second weight. We'll go into our bench over rows on the minute mark. Go ahead and grab some water if you need it. So again, I push my hips back, slight bend at the knees. Weights are in front of me. Have that nice straight line in my spine. And then I'm just pulling my elbows past my body, squeezing at the back, right? Squeeze, squeeze. I don't so much focus on the weight, right? I'm just holding the weight. Elbows drive the movement. Just going to move a little bit so I can see the timer. 15 more seconds. Looking forward and down on the ground, maybe looking about a meter in front of you. Keep that head in line. We set the weights down. We go into those 90-degree squat hops. So again, it's just a quarter squat position, half squat at most. So we want to be nice and quiet with our landing. Again, take your time, right? This doesn't have to be, you don't have to be moving through like this. You can take your time, set up your squat, jump, set up, land softly, set up, right? It doesn't have to be super quick. It can be super quick if you're a little bit more advanced. But you want to meet yourself where you're at. Maybe you're just at that point where we're modifying, not jumping at all. Maybe it's a mixture of all three, right? Maybe it's just what I did right there, where I do some fast hops, do some slow hops, then I'm not hopping at all. I'm just turning and moving through the squats. That's round 1. Oh, I missed my split squat hops. That's why it's not round 1. All right, split squat hops. We're just going to go right into it. So essentially, we're in this lunge position, and we're coming up and down, just like so. This is going to be extremely challenging coming off those squat hops, but we'll fix it on the second round. Halfway through, we switch. Again, for this, if you need to modify, we're just going to take out that hop. And maybe you're just doing a quarter split squat, right? Bouncing through. And this is more designed for the cardio aspect. So we're just taking little hops. All right. We'll fix that on the next round. We have our lateral lunge next. I'm going to use the band just to show you how it's done. I find the band extremely challenging for these. I just step in, I hold it up top, step to the side and I lunge. Step a little bit more back so you can see that full angle there. When I lunge, I take that exact right step out to the left, I push my hips back, and then I sink in to that lead leg. All the while, spine staying straight, back staying straight, switch sides. Moving through at this natural pace. Remember, it's a strength exercise, so we can move through it a little slower. If you have the weight, have a little bit of added weight, that's great. You can always hold something in your hand that's unconventional, right? Books, canned goods, whatever. All right, split squat hops. If you need something to help you balance, you can always use that too, right? I can just use this couch here. And I can do my split squats. Don't even need to do the hop, right? Just moving through at a decent pace. I'm more focused on the up down rather than getting my knee, an inch above the ground. And then if you want to try something a little bit more advanced, you can always do the switch in the air. So we're going to switch sides now. Again, my chest stays lifted, hopping on through. You need that little thing to help you fix your balance. Take your time again. It could be slow. It could be one hop, 2 bounces, 3 bounces, then another hop, right? All right, then we go into our bench over rows. Heavy leg day today, that is for sure. I'll use the band. Again, just so that you guys can see what different modalities work or look like. Grabbing low on the band and we're rowing. Chest stays lifted. Elbows past the body. Nice thing about using these weights in this position is you have time under tension the whole time. Halfway through, I'm going to actually show the renegade rows, just so that everybody can see those as well. Right, my feet are a little bit wider than I would be in a normal high plank, and that's just to keep my hips from wobbling. I can still drive my elbows past my body, recruiting those rhomboids and other back muscles. And you get the added benefit of this being a core exercise. Oh, went a little bit over time. All right, last set, we have our 90-degree squat hops. Then we'll be doing some core. Then that will be it. 90-degree squat hops. I'm going to start nice and slow. Take my time to get set up. And then at that 10-second mark, I'm actually going to speed it up a little bit for 10 seconds. All right, last 10 seconds, going to take it, or next 10 seconds, I'm going to do my steps. And last little bit, I'm going to finish as strong as I can. Perfect form the whole time. Awesome. Stop that timer. Show you the core exercise. We're going to follow this 2 times through. 30 seconds. We'll side plank on the left side or the right side, doesn't really matter. Side plank, right, is either from the feet or from the knees. We have that nice straight line where we're keeping the hips off the ground. And then our heel touches for 30 seconds will be shoulders off the ground, trying to touch your heels on the outside with the same side hand, all right? So we'll start with that plank. One side plank. 3, 2, and 1. Try to stay open so that we have this nice straight line. I'm not closed and collapsing, and I'm not overextending. And I'm going to tell you, this 3 minutes, 2 rounds is going to suck. These are going to be hard. That's okay. We know it's the last 3 minutes of exercise. That's all we have to do. And we're home free. We can feel good about ourselves. All right, and we can switch real quick. That wasn't my smoothest transition, I'll say that much. My elbow is directly under my shoulder, and then I just teapot a little bit with the other arm, and that allows me to open myself up so that I have the correct form throughout the whole exercise. And we're only on round 1, I didn't change that. But the nice thing is that will be right in 30 seconds. So we're going to go into those heel touches. Again, my shoulders are just off the ground as I alternate, trying to touch the outside heel with the same side hand. No breaks on this one. As you noticed, it's not implemented in. And that's because you guys don't need breaks. You're tough. You can do it. You can push, you can push, you can push into that side plank. No brakes on this pain train, unfortunately. Look at that, we're on round 2, didn't even need to change anything. Hips up, nice and high. Again, if you need to modify, it's just from the knees, but always hips off the ground. Nice straight line. Your feet can be stacked like mine. I'll show you what else you can do on the other side. And we can switch real quick. So instead of feet stacked, you could do feet staggered almost, like so. Create a little bit more, but still turn back. Allow those hips to open up. Teapot if you need that reference point. But hips are off the ground. Really embracing those internal and external obliques to hold you up. Keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing. Almost there. All right, heel touches, last set. Shoulders off the ground. Moving through, activating those muscles that are so tired from holding your ass up. Moving through it, moving through it, moving through it. Almost there. 10 to go. Push, 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 push. You got this, you got this. Think about while you're doing this as we hold on for 3, 2, and 1. All right. Right into good morning stretch, or I think that's what it's called. Arms overhead. Knock over your water like me. I want you to try to put your arms into a Y and press your elbows into the ground just to stretch out that chest a little bit more. Great work today. That was a tough workout. As you can see, I'm sweating, and I probably wasn't going as near as hard as a lot of you. All right, we're going to take our left leg. We're going to cross it over our right. Left hand through the hole, right hand on the outside, head down on the ground. Pull that right leg towards the chest. If you have difficulty pulling that towards your chest, you can always loop a band through that leg. And now you see I don't even need to round up to lift that leg through. I can just pull through with the band. Again, not necessary though. We can switch sides. If you don't have that equipment, you can just loop your hand through. Again, try to keep that head on the ground while we do this. Right leg is crossed over left. You're pulling your left leg towards your chest now. Stretching out those glute med muscles, side of your hip, side of your butt. All right, then we can sit up slowly. We're going to touch our heels together. Slight lean forward. Just stretching out that inner groin. We use that a lot today in those lunges, as well as in those 90-degree squat hops. And then we'll go into our child's pose. So I'm going from this quadruped position. I'm just going to push my hips back and crawl my hands forward as far as I can until I feel that stretch in my low back as well as my lats. Something that I find helped me stretch my lats is I almost try sliding my hands towards myself without allowing them to move. And we'll move into that cat to cow. So tuck the chin down, nice big round spine. Move the spine and the chin to neutral. Just alternate through that on your own breath. All right, and last stretch. If you have a door frame, we're going to do the door frame stretch. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the door frame below shoulder height, and I'm just, with an outstretched arm, turning through my torso, creating that stretch in my chest. I apologize for the light. And we'll switch sides. Probably a little easier to see me on this side where I should have demonstrated it first. Again, you can see I'm just getting that stretch throughout the chest. If you don't have something accessible like this, you can always just do the handcuff stretch where I grab my hands behind my back, bring my shoulders back and down, and feel a stretch in the chest that way. But with that, that is our final stretch. I hope you guys enjoyed today's class. As always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave a comment. This will be on YouTube shortly for those that were unable to catch us live. We have a mindfulness webinar coming up. The post will be up for that later today. You can join tomorrow. So I urge you to check that out. It's going to be great. Lindsay and I will be presenting that. But if not, if you enjoyed that class, I'm live again tomorrow morning at 7:30. So I hope to see you then. Have a great afternoon, everyone.